And sometimes I still think now, I just think, why am I bothering? Why am I bothering, like, trying to be a better person? Why am I bothering trying to help myself and help others? Because it's not getting me anywhere. But it is, you just don't think it. That's the BPD telling you that you're worthless. That you know what I mean? But you're stronger than the BPD. That's just a little part of you. It doesn't define who you are.
I really resonate with that, and I
Mm,
honestly for that. I think for us with BPD, what I've learned is constant validation and affirmation, and at the same time, constructive criticism is very important for our growth and development, and in a
definitely.
healthy manner too, and not a negative manner. See, with BPD, you think of everything negatively, and you can be aware that like, hey, all I do is think negatively. You're still gonna think negatively,
Mm.
and it's hard because you're fully aware of it, and you just can't help it. It's like a sweet itch that you want to itch, but you just can't because it's all raw, you
Oh,
know.
yeah. Oh, I know that so well.
You
Sometimes
know,
I just wish my brain would just switch off, even if it's just an hour for once, and I'll be able to think freely and think, well, normal, like everyone else seems to think, even though they don't. But sometimes I look at it, it's like it's a blessing. I love being how passionate I am over certain things and how empathetic I am towards others, because I can notice people struggling when they don't notice it themselves because I know the signs. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's a blessing and a curse, BPD. But I've learned over the years I'd rather be me now than anything else. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy with who I am, even though it is a pain in the arse sometimes. And when I have bad days, I just think, oh, why am I bothering and that? But at the end of the day, is I am this person here for a reason. I'm on this journey for a reason, and I'm gonna give it 110%, whatever. And I love the fact that I'm meeting other people from around the world with BPD and other mental health issues. It's crazy, but uplifting as well. Because before I got diagnosed, I thought I was the only one in the world that felt the way I did. And I had to go to group therapy when I first got diagnosed. And I come out that first therapy session crying with happiness. I just felt not alone for the first time ever in my life. And all these people were saying how they're feeling that. And I felt like I'm sitting there thinking, oh, yeah, that's me. That's me. Wow, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. And yeah, it's like I said, it's a curse and a blessing, but I'd rather be me than someone else.
Can I just say what you're saying is almost making me like cry because this is, I don't know, even without BPD, I think this can apply to literally everyone. That like, you know, there's always going to be, I guess, a bright side to everything, an ending to everything, and also, anyways, really, thank you so much for that. I'm kind of really needing to calm myself down. But yeah, I'll just get started with the normal, I guess, podcast opening. But yeah, I would just like you guys to introduce yourself, like what do you do for a living, like your favorite colors, all that cool swag about your daily life, I guess.
would you like to go first?
Ladies first.
A true gentleman. My name is Sophia. I live in Houston, Texas, in the United States, and I am a horse trainer. I train horses for a living. I break horses in the sense that like they get weaned from their moms, and I tame them. It's the coolest thing ever. It lights my soul on fire. I have a dog, and he is the absolute love of my life. And I got a kitten like 2 months ago, and she is a rabid bitch, but I love her. Love her. And I've been diagnosed with BPD officially for 4 years, and it's been hell. And it's taught me to look at life differently. And it used to be a very negative aspect, but now I'm just coming to find the beauty in BPD because at the end of the day, none of us want to be diagnosed with BPD. It gets set upon us because of things out of our control, and we just have to fucking suck it up and live with it. And it sucks. And it's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you stronger. You're going to turn into a person you never thought you could. So at the end of the day, I love BPD. Love it. It is. It is what it is. You got to live with it. but you got to kick it in the butt. If it acts out, you beat that thing. You beat that animal. I refer to a lot of things in life with horses because horses have been the one thing I'm good at in life. The only thing I've been good at in life. And now that it's my job and I can just let the drive and the passion, you just unleash it. It's crazy and I love every single second of it. The good, the bad, the ugly. I'll be spitting blood at work, laughing, saying I love this. So, like, my journey with BPD is you got to find what lights your soul on fire and chase it and never let it go. Thank you.
Well, how can I beat that? Right, well, I'm Ryan. I'm from Kent in England. I've had BPD officially for about 7 to 8 years now. At first, when I got diagnosed, it was an eye-opener and a curse at the same time, because the worst thing I ever done was Google the symptoms for BPD, and it always gives you the worst case scenario. And even I was ticking in boxes, I was crying inside, thinking that I'm a freak, I'm this, I'm that. Just thought I was the scum of the earth. But when I started getting the therapy and meeting other people with BPD, I realised it's not as bad as what Google makes out. It's a blessing and a curse. I feel like I'm the most empathetic person ever, and I can see the trouble and strife in others before they can see it themselves. I respect other people's feelings more than I ever did, and yeah, it's changed my life knowing that I've got BPD, but it's changed it for the better. I've met some incredible people from all around the world, fellow sufferers, and I've wrote my own book about it and that, and that's the journey I'm on now. I want to go into motivational speaking. I want to do everything I can to break that stigma. I want to get my book out there as much as possible, and then obviously travel the world and just try and break that stigma. So especially in men, I want other men to open up more with their feelings, because I don't know what it's like over in the States, but here men just don't want to talk. They're just too proud and think they have to suck it up and things like that. And there's so much suicide over here, unfortunately. Especially lately, it's been rife. People in my local area killing themselves because they just can't cope with their mental illnesses and that. Instead of talking, they're just going to chop themselves. So that's what I want to do. I want to go out and help as many people as I can to make them realise that it's okay to talk, it's okay to express your feelings, and it's okay to get the help and not feel alone.
That's really beautiful, because that's what all of us need. The people that are embracing BPD. Because I don't want to say struggling, because at the end of you need to think positive with everything. If you don't do that, then your BPD will take over, and it will just take over your brain and your mind, and it'll just absolutely kill you inside. So, like with DBT and shit like that, you need to do the opposite of the urge. When you have these feelings, you need to be aware of them, in the sense that, look, I want to do this, and like if I do that, then this will happen, or this could happen. And you my brain is fried. See, that's the thing, I've overdosed so many times. When my brain gets overloaded, it just like restarts.
There's no rush. Don't worry about
We don't
thinking you're going to say the wrong thing.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, like, my brain's kind of fried, so.
Yeah, don't worry, really don't worry. Here's a safe space, and like, if you ever think about it and remember about it later, you can say it. And if it's too weird, we can just move on.
We're good. I do have to leave in like 10 minutes to get back to work, but.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
So, I know, Ryan, you said you wanted to do books, and I know both of you are like really big BPD activists, which is why I actually found you guys. So I was thinking, you like, with the whole Amber Heard thing, she getting diagnosed with BPD, and just so many bad media misconceptions, on Reddit especially. That was how I actually first kind of found out that people didn't like people with BPD. So like, what do you guys think about all of these misconceptions, and like, how do you think media should change all of these kind of misconceptions on BPD?
personally, I think that Amber Heard situation, I think she was trying to use the BPD as an excuse for her actions. That's just my personal opinion. And I didn't like the fact that the way the media used BPD as a negative and that, and it really pissed me off. I'm not going to lie, because media make the worst case scenario on everything. And I know they have to, because that's how they sell their stories, that's how they do their work. But using mental illness in a way that makes it out to be negative, in my eyes, was completely wrong. You need to hear both sides of the story when it comes to mental illness. What trauma these people go through that make them get diagnosed BPD or whatever. They've got to look at the backstory, not just what their actions are, what they do in life, and see the bullshit that some people come out with, saying, "Oh well, I done that because I got BPD, so you can excuse me." No, we do things as an impulse. It doesn't make it acceptable to do it just because we've got BPD. You still got to live with the consequences and that. It's just a reason why we do these things. Doesn't make well, especially for me. I've done some stupid things in my life. I still regret them things. I don't use my BPD as an excuse and say, "Oh, well, that's okay. I was allowed to do that because I'm BPD." No. So for her to come out and say that, use BPD in that respect, yeah, really annoyed me. That's just my opinion. I don't know what your guys' opinion is, isn't it?
Personally, I agree. The whole Amber Heard case, from a stable point of view, everybody wants to support the female and be there for her, but at the end of the day, people forget that females can be abusive too. And she had some people wrapped around her finger, and it really negatively impacted the view people have on BPD. There's already a negative view, and the fact that Amber Heard is just a wacko job and just crazy does not help people with BPD. She also has another diagnosis, so there is that. I'm not really familiar with it, but it does not help. There's already a very, very negative connotation to the word BPD, borderline personality disorder. And but BPD, in my opinion, my honest opinion, is not a bad thing. It is a beautiful thing. We do not ask to be traumatized. We just have to deal with it. And the way we deal with it is through BPD. The things we do is we react off of our trauma, which is understandable, it's valid, and people don't understand that. I had somebody on my TikTok the other day say, "You can't have PTSD, you didn't serve in a war." And I said, it's very insensitive of you. People outside of war can have PTSD. And my video got taken down for being too aggressive, and it was tough because I feel like the media outlets have good amount of control over what we post about it. I've had some good postings about BPD, but I've also had people go, "Oh, I think I have BPD. Like, I have one of these traits." And I'm like, no, 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 no. That's not how it works. You don't want this. Your world turns upside down. So that's kind of where I'm at. We need a positive influence. Pete Davidson is dating Kim Kardashian. He has BPD. So hopefully that can reign through, and we'll see what happens.
A lot of his stuff at Pete Davidson, and I think the way he talks about mental illness and things like that, is a positive way, and we need more people like that. We need more people out in the celebrity world, not to big it up and make it popular to have, but just to give it that not a funny side of it or take the piss out of it, but just say how it really is, give some positive light to it, any mental illness.
You do more kind of physical content, whereas all of the people I've kind of asked, they do like TikTok content, kind of spreading more like their daily lives and aspects of BPD in that way. And you kind of do it in a more like, I guess, traditional sense of advocacy. So how do you think, oh, this sounds so weird, but how do you think in this day and age people should go about like advocating for BPD, and like what do you think are the most important things that people should know about BPD advocacy, all of that?
I don't know. I just want people to know the truth behind it and not have the misconception of that we're abusers, we're nasty people, we use people, we hurt people. Most of the times is the only people we hurt physically are ourselves. We just want to be loved and accepted for who we are. And sometimes, you know, in my life, that's been used against me so many times. You know, I've been through umpteen relationships because they couldn't handle me, and it got to that stage because they had the Florence Nightingale effect. They come into your life, find out about BPD, and like, oh yeah, I can save him, I can help him, and that. But I don't need saving, I don't need helping. I just need loving and understanding. So I think more like content and things like just to show the positive side of us, you know, even though they still need to learn negative side as well, but just to realize that we're human beings just like everyone else, but we just look at the world and feel the world in a different way. You know, our feelings are 100% whatever. If we're happy, we're really happy. If we're sad, we're really sad. If we're angry, we're really pissed off. You know, it's something that we can't control, and it's a lot that other people can't understand, and they forget that little problems to them are massive to us, and then they think that we're overreacting to a certain situation, but they forget that we're not overreacting. It's just a massive problem to us. So yeah, it just needs a little bit more understanding. And you know, like you said, that these people on TikTok, you know, they say their daily routine and day in their lives. That's lovely because it shows them that they're human beings too, you know, but they still need to know the hard facts and the truth behind it, that we're not monsters, we're just like everyone else, but we're just passionate about everything, and we can't help that. You know, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, it's just the way you look at it. So what do you feel about, you know, what needs changing and that? Or it's
Yeah,
a tough question, isn't it?
yeah, because as Soph said just now, like there are so many people kind of diagnosing themselves just by like, oh, I have this trait, I have that trait, and that it kind of takes away from a lot of the struggles and a lot of the, I guess, the processes that people have to go through, going to see a psychiatrist, going to therapy. And it's good that TikTok has this platform for people to know about BPD and know about the daily lives of people, but I feel like it can also be a really stigmatizing thing. And like getting back to the Amber Heard thing, I still think that there's so many bad misconceptions that social media kind of amplifies. Like when I searched up borderline personality disorder, and I think psychologists, because I wanted to find some psychologists that were related to BPD, the only thing that came up was that I literally saw Amber Heard, borderline personality disorder. It means she's abusive, she's a liar, and I was like, this. I was outside when I searched this up, and I almost started breaking down crying because I was like, this is not what BPD is. BPD is not something that causes someone to be abusive. In my opinion, I think that someone is not born abusive, but they have to have a certain character trait inside of them, and BPD only kind of catalyzes this or makes it, I guess, more evident. Maybe in Amber Heard's case, I don't know if she's lying or if that's actually or if she, like, whatever that is. And I know that she is an abuser, but I don't think people can excuse that because she has BPD, and I don't think she can also excuse it because she has BPD. I'm sorry, I'm really passionate.
No, I totally agree. Because as soon as I read that, because I followed a lot of the case on YouTube, and especially when it come up with BPD, and I was just looking at it, I'm thinking that you're using those three letters as an excuse for basically you're missing what you've done without admitting it, but you're trying to go down that angle with BPD, saying that, well, if you're going to get found out that you actually done these things, you're going to go along the lines of, well, it was the BPD that done that. No, because even if you suffer, you've still got a choice in life, and you know how it feels to be broken. You know how it feels to be low in life. So why would you want to do that to someone else?
No, I agree.
I think there's other underlying conditions with her. She's got some serious psychological stuff going on there, and perhaps she has got BPD in a certain way. But there's so much more there. For pooing in his bed and things like that, I'm like, I don't know what was going through her head, to be honest. I really don't, you know. But the media just picked up on that BPD and kind of run with it, and they need to be punished for that. And the only way to be punished is to get the real story out there and get the real side of BPD. Yeah, it's not nice to have, and we do cause kind of pain in life to others because the way we act and things like that. But we're just human beings as well. We're just passionate and just want to be loved and understood.
Yeah.
You know, but unfortunately, that's not possible. It is possible, but it's going to take so much more understanding and lessons to be learned by everyone else. But I've always been told is only understand it fully. You've got to live it. which is kind of correct in some respects, but there's so much more that they can do to learn. There really is, but one day, hopefully.
One day, I really hope. I'm on Reddit a lot, and there's a subreddit called r/BPD Loved Ones, and it's basically like a forum of people posting. Apparently they're in a relationship with someone with BPD, and it's just the most stigmatizing thing I've seen. And every person that has BPD I've come across, I tell them about the subreddit, and they're like, yeah, I hate that subreddit, and it's just really like it's really, really bad. And yeah. But this is
I won't be checking that out then. I'm not going on Reddit then. I'm not going to check that out because I'll just stress over it.
Yeah, I mean, I am on another subreddit called just borderline personality disorder, and that's with people that actually have BPD. So it's much better at it, and they sometimes post memes and stuff about borderline personality disorder, and it's all really like lighthearted and fun, and that's a much better place. So don't go on that side of it.
No, regarding the memes, I think they're brilliant because they do make a light-hearted, funny side of it, and I'm a firm believer of if you could take the piss out of yourself, then it makes you a bigger person because like you're not saying, oh, I've got BPD, you know, I can't do this, I can't do that. You say, yeah, I've got BPD. So what, you know, I'm always taking the mickey out of myself all the time. And I'm very open with my diagnosis. I'll tell anyone about it. And people used to have a go at me and say, why do you talk about it so much? I said, because it's me. And they said, well, you might be driving people away. I said, but if I'm driving people away, then they're not worth knowing. If they're not ready for it, then so be it.
That's a really nice way of looking at it. Such a powerful thing. Like, if you can't accept me for who I am, why bother? I'm not sure if you know this comedian, Daniel Sloss. He's Scottish. He doesn't have BPD. It's just he has a really, really good stand-up stuff. And I remember this really quote, this significant quote was like, if you don't love 100% of me, off you fucking fuck. And I was like, this is like really like if you can't accept me, if an employer can't accept me for having BPD, this is who I am. Like, why should anyone like be in that work environment? But yeah.
Yeah, it's true. You know, you shouldn't pretend to be something that you're not. You shouldn't hide any part of you. I can say that because I did that for a long time. You know, I went through stages that I kept quiet because I wanted to fit in places and I pretended to be something else, especially in relationships, and it got me nowhere. And now I can honestly say that I'm in the best relationship ever. She understands me more than anyone else. You know, I'm totally open and honest with her about the BPD and that. And I couldn't be happy because I'm being 100% me, and that's what you need to be as well. Even past jobs, it comes to a stage that I told them they wasn't very accepting of it, but I felt better knowing that they know now. So it's up to them, and if they want to use that against me, then I'll just, you know, take them to court for using mental health against me. So that's what you've got to do as well. Just be yourself, and you know, then you're living your journey 100%, and you're being true to yourself. Just love yourself. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, it's hard. It took me a long time to love myself. It really did. I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight, but it will happen, and you'll be a better person for it. If you're loving yourself, then people can love you the way you want to be loved. People can accept you the way you want to be accepted, just for being you. Just walk down that street with a smile on your face, say, "Yeah, I've got BPD. So what? I'm a better person. You. I can feel." Not in the big-headed way, I'm a better person, you fuck off. But I mean, you're feeling things that they can never possibly feel, and that's a blessing. That's a powerful thing to have.
You should write tons of books, like be a professional like motivational speaker. I think
that's what I'm trying to get into, and I've got my first talk in a couple of weeks in a local hospital. They asked how much I want to charge, but I said no, I don't want charging. I'm not going to charge now because I want to get the experience. All I said is just give me some fuel money and do an honest review and post it out there. And so hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll go well. But yeah, that's what I want to get into now. I've got my book that I'm promoting as well, but that's what I want to get into, just to talk crap and get paid for it. I'm there. I'm perfect for that job.
Okay, back to the topic, I guess. But you said you were in a relationship. I can't relate. It's been a bit of a rocky thing for me, but I know there's the thing with I guess FP's favorite people in BPD. So I was just wondering, like, if you could just give a brief explanation on FPs, the misconceptions, if you've had any of them, or just like I guess general stuff about them. Yeah.
I think my FPs has always been the person I've been in a relationship because I just I've always jumped in a relationship with 2 feet. You know, as soon as I met someone, that's it. I fall in love with them, and I just put my whole attention on that person. So my FP has always been the person, like I said, been in a relationship with, which obviously hasn't worked in the past because it's always drove them away. Friends, it's a hard one for me because none of my friends really understand, and because obviously they're mostly blokes, they don't want to talk about it. So a lot of the time I've had to be my own FP because I'm the only one I can count on. And I've got my mum and she's my best friend and that, but she looks at me when I'm like that as a little boy still, so she still tries and mothers me, and that's hard. But now I say I found my true FP is in my partner, and she's just the best thing ever. Yes, we still clash like normal couples do, but she listens to me, and that's all I need. I just need someone to rant to sometimes, get it off my chest, let me calm down, and we can talk about it. Sometimes it takes a couple of days, like lately, because I haven't been in the greatest of places, but I know that she'll always be my FP, regardless. And that's because I learned to love myself. So we're going to go back on that. Okay, learn to love yourself. But it's true, because I used to jump from one relationship to another all the time because I didn't want to be alone. And obviously, we struggle with the thing with abandonment. So I went from one relationship to another. I had affairs. I'd done some stupid things before I knew who I was because I didn't want to be alone. And then before I met my current partner, I was single for about a year and a half, 2 years. And obviously it was due the lockdown we had here. And a lot of people struggle with lockdown, but I loved it because I found me. I started to spend more time on myself and love myself. And yeah, you should probably say something completely different. You should probably say I'm a nightmare. She don't believe me, but no.
Oh yeah, I really do think you deserve this happiness, and it's been a long time since you were born.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. I was born in the last century. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And 1977. Right. That's a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What year was you born?
2006. I mean, everyone deserves happiness, especially you, because you said that I guess this was the first time you actually felt that you deserved love, which I don't think so. I think everyone deserves love in their entire life, even if you're going through like a dark place, even if you're going through a huge BPD episode, an anger episode, whatever. Like everyone deserves love in some way, and I think that I was just happy for you. I guess I didn't mean to say that.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I have a list of questions to ask, so I'm sorry that I keep on segueing.
No, that's fine.
But
ask away.
Okay, so this is a question I originally had, but I also did want to ask because you told me you had a daughter. But do you have any advice for teens or just people who have like been diagnosed recently, not specifically BPD, just anything, any mental illness, or just suffering from mentally ill health in general? Like, what advice would you have for the younger generation?
What's with a quote?
Well, for young as well. So yeah.
I basically just give any advice I would to anyone. Just be yourself. Surround yourself with the right people because that makes a difference. You know, not everyone's going to want to be in your life. Not everyone's going to want to understand you, and that bit's going to hurt. But when you find the right people in your life, you feel more accepted. You feel more able to be yourself. So I'll just say, just be yourself no matter what. Don't hide anything. You know, talk about your feelings. Go and get the help that you need. If you need to talk, go and find a professional or a family friend, or find anyone that is going to sit there and listen to you. And just be happy and be who you are, because there's no point being something that you're not, because you're just faking your own life. You know, you might think that, oh, you've got to be this type of person to fit into society. There's so many sections in society that you're not going to fit into all of them. So you find a place where you are accepted, you are loved, and that will make a huge difference in your life. You know, there's a huge community out there who want to make a difference with mental health. And there's so many people out there that you've never met, but to know someone out there is feeling exactly the same as you is a massive thing, because you feel not so alone. You feel like you're not the only one in this world that thinks this way, feels this way, acts this way. To know that other people going through exactly the same thing, and knowing that they're dealing with it, so can you. You know, it's don't get me wrong, it's going to be a hard journey, but it's worth it. It really is. You know, just don't give up on yourself. There's too many people that give up on themselves these days and go down the road of drugs, alcohol, and things like that, use as a dependent. I get why people do that, you know, but that doesn't solve anything. That just masks the problem. You know, just do it the right way. And I'm talking just going off again. But yeah,
Ooh, that was on the advice trail. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's a lot. You know, it's hard to just focus on to one bit of advice. You know, it's basically it just comes down to just be 100% yourself. You know, you are, and you're special the way you are. You know, we've all got purpose in life, and this is the card that we've been dealt, and this journey that we've been put on. So live it, love it. You know, embrace it. Turn anything you can into a positive, and and smile and laugh as much as you can. If you can't laugh at yourself, then that means when anyone else laughs at you, it's going to hurt.
Oh,
If you can,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I literally got into a huge fight with my family about they were calling me really sensitive about everything, and yeah, I should really learn how to take the piss out of myself.
yeah, because that's you. Okay, you're sensitive, oversensitive, and it just means you've got a bigger heart than them. Do you know what I mean? It just proves that they're so cold-hearted and you're very warm-hearted. You know, obviously they're not cold-hearted, but do you know what I'm saying it's like, you know, they just don't understand how you are because they're not lucky like we are. They can't express themselves the way we can.
I love hearing people like you and Soph from just now just talking about how BPD is beautiful or like it's not a bad thing, because I know lots of people will say that BPD is a bad thing, even though they're like trying to advocate for it. And it's really nice to see you say that. So really, thank you. It is a gift in some ways and also a curse in many different ways. But
Oh, definitely. You know, I'll talk 100% positive about it, but I know there is the downsides, the bad sides, and that. You know, there's happy and sad and everything in life, and you know, BPD does have a lot of emotions that we don't like, but the good outweighs the bad, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's just, it's hard to explain. It's just, I love being me, and I don't love being me, but I'm more good side now than the bad side because I've learned over the years, you know, dealing with it, that the bad doesn't last forever, and you're going to come out of that tunnel to sunshine again. You know, and if you can come out of that tunnel without having to turn back and repair any damage that you've caused while you've been in that bad moment, then that's a win. That's a positive. You know, so it will get easier. You're young. You've got so much to learn. You know, I'm old. I've been through the mill so many times.
I mean, yeah, I think also because you're quote unquote old, but like you do have a lot of, I guess, expertise in that way. You did say just now that you were like, don't do drugs, I guess. So I was just wondering, as someone with BPD, did you just not touch drugs in like even in manic episodes or and just like talk about episodes in general? Because I feel like a lot of our listeners are like, what is BPD? Why are we talking about anger episodes, manic, all of that?
Don't get me wrong. I tried all that stuff when I was in college and things like that. You know, I went through the usual as you do growing up through them phases. But for some reason, I just never kind of depended on it. You know, I've never been a massive drinker. You know, I'd rather be the designated driver and make sure everyone else gets home. It's weird because the way I look at it is with BPD, I can have a good time sober. I can enjoy being out and dancing and laughing and that without needing the drink to be that type of person. So the way I look at it is I'm a cheap date. You know, I don't need to get loads of money to spend on to have a good time. But yeah, I can understand why people do go down there, and I'm not going to slag them people off for choosing that path, even though I didn't. But it's not the answer. Like I said earlier on, that just masks everything. But my manic episodes, I used to self-harm a lot. It all started off when I was a kid. My self-harming was punching pillows to get my anger out. And then that got to a point that as I was getting older and stronger, that wasn't enough. You know, I was getting tired. Then it started being doors and walls I was punching. Then because I got to a stage that I felt like all this inner pain, I need to turn it into external form. And the only way I could do that was hurting myself. So then it went from doors to walls. Then in the last 10 years, it turned to punching myself in the head and chest. And I only ever do that on a really bad episode now. But I can kind of, that's only when I can't control it, and that manic episode has got to reach peak before I can come back down. And it's more of an impulsive thing as well. Sometimes I'm not even thinking, I'm just going smack, and I'm like, ah. But you know, it's not nice to look at. I know what people said, like my girlfriend and my mum especially, over the years, she's tried to stop me doing it. But it's something that I can't control, well, fully. I've learned over years to understand it, and so I don't reach that point. But it's only when I'm having a really bad manic episode that I do it impulsively, and just to try and get that that anger inside, that feeling you can feel all your muscles, everything tensed up, and I just have to go a couple of times on the chest, on the head. It's not nice. I'll probably do damage. I'll give myself black eyes before nosebleeds, but it's the only thing that kind of calmed me down in respect.
I definitely think that BPD is one of the more self-aware disorders where you know what you're doing is bad, but it's not something that you can necessarily change without, going through a lot of DBT and just a lot of therapy. So, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times you're blinkered when you're in that manic episode. It's like a racing horse, they have the blinkers on. You know what's going on now, but there's nothing you can do. You've got to go through that race to get to the finish line, or like I said, along through that tunnel, because the only way out is the light at the end of the tunnel. So you've got to go through that episode so you can come out to daylight and think, right, all this destruction I've caused, I've got to go and fix that. But you can't do it in the middle of the episode because it's just not possible. That's obviously the downside of BPD. When you're passionate about everything, when you're passionate about something that someone else doesn't agree with, that's where friction causes, or someone hasn't done what you wanted them to do, not like you're controlling, but you expected someone to do something. And because you're so passionate about it, it's just like, oh, for God's sake. And you're just like, well, and bang. I hope I'm not fighting off BPD now.
No, definitely not. No, I never thought about the blinkers thing, but I definitely think I always said like tunnel vision, which it definitely is. Yeah. Okay. And one last question, which I have, which is, you did say that you like obviously you identify as male, and I feel like in the society, people with the gender of male don't really like talking about mental health issues, and obviously you might have a lot more male friends. So I was just wondering, because a lot of people I've asked that have BPD, we have a lot of friends that have autism, have ADHD, just people that are kind of neurodivergent. So I was wondering if you have kind of experienced that. Do you tend to like gravitate towards people with, I don't know, BPD or other kind of neurodivergencies?
Yeah, I do, and half the time I don't realise it. I just seem to connect with people who have suffered or have had trauma in their lives, and I just feel more comfortable around them. I don't know why. I think it's because I understand them, and I know that they can understand me more than people who've had an easy life or whatever. Yeah, it's weird. I do seem to gravitate or end up with people in my life who have experienced some kind of, I would say, trauma, or they've got a diagnosis and that. And I like it because I know that me being there for them is making them feel better about themselves, and not being big-headed, but they know that they're not alone. Because that's the biggest thing at the end of the day. You don't want to feel alone in any journey. Yeah, I've never really thought about it before, but yeah, I just seem to gravitate to anyone.
I also didn't really notice this until I saw on Reddit this post, like all people with autism and people that have BPD are often portrayed in media as the bad guys. And my best friend has autism, so I literally just sent her the meme, and she was like, "Don't you realize that a lot of people that have autism have friends with like BPD or like ADHD?" And I was like, "Huh, true." Like most of my friends who have like neurodivergencies, I was like, "This is something I should probably ask people about."
Yeah, it's like not unspoken rule, but it's an unspoken connection that you have with these people because they're suffering with similar conditions. I know a lot of mental illnesses are interlinked in so many ways. There's so many similarities in them, but obviously there's different parts that make us BPDs, different parts that make us autistic, ADHD, and things like that. But there's so many things that we are all connected in. I think that's where we bond, we get that understanding. And I'd rather have friends like that than the people who haven't got a heart, haven't got care, selfish, don't understand. I don't need people like that in my lives.
I love how you have that mentality of like, literally, if you don't like me, you can go away. I think everyone in the society needs to get that.
Don't get me wrong. It's only the last couple of years I've felt like that. For a long time, if anyone, I used to have a problem with Facebook. I used to check how many friends I had, and if it gone down, I should scroll through posts and see if anyone's unfriended me who used to like one of my old posts, and I'll go over it in my head thinking, why they unfriended me? But now I just think, well, you're missing out on all the good stuff now. You're not seeing my greatness. You're not seeing me spread my wings. So you're lost. But oh god, yeah. For years I used to worry about losing anyone.
I saw online that it was like people with BPD really care about social media, and
we do that, don't we? If someone's like one post and not like another, I'm like, well, why do you like that one? Or you viewed it but you haven't liked it. Well, why don't you like it?
that's one.
Yeah. Or you get people checking your profile, especially on LinkedIn. That comes up, and TikTok. It says, "Oh, someone's viewed your profile, right? Why don't I like my stuff? Why don't you like my stuff? Is it shit? You know what I mean? But not everyone's like us. Yeah, the only way we can advertise BPD is on social media, so it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, like I was telling Soph about this before you came on the call, but I reached out to at least like 100 people for this podcast. Maybe 50 people replied, and then when I send them the information, I'm like, here's the link, here's everything. And then literally 5 minutes before the call, I was like, hey, the call started. No one replied. And we only got you and Soph. And I was like, thank you. I see you're online. And I thought you wanted to do something for BPD awareness. But of course, it's fine.
But just remember, they might not be ready on their journey yet.
That's true.
You might have thought they might have been ready, but when it comes to it, they might not have been. I know it's hard because I think exactly the same. Say, well, you've lied to me, you've let me down, you've built my hopes up, now you haven't been here. But looking from the outside, perhaps they're not ready. And they're not good enough for this podcast. You know, we don't need them. Do you need them? You've got me.
Yeah. I think we're going to wrap it up there. Do you have any social media to kind of hype up? And I just want to know all of your links so I can hype you up as well and, you know, those get you to the States like you deserve. But yeah.
Yeah, just all on all social media, I'm under the Riding the Storm,
Okay.
which is the title of my book, which is on Amazon.
Yeah.
Just put that out there.
I'll put the link in the description, everyone. Check the description box. So yeah, really, thank you so much for being here. Yeah. Do you have any last words for the podcast?
Just, I think I've said everything. I think just keep listening to it, read it back again, listen. No, I'll just say, you know, just be true to yourself and just don't pretend to be anyone else. That's the best advice I can give. You know, it's just that.